Good morning. I'm Diana Pam with MoMA. Today I'm going to be sharing some very concrete results from a pilot project that we implemented over the last year to solve a very practical problem, which is simply crowding in our lobby. So we looked at self-service kiosks for a long time, and really it's something that's ubiquitous now. You see them everywhere in movie theaters and at your bank, airports, but you don't see them so much in the museum sector. And whether it's because of aesthetics or simply the cost of implementing something like that and the maintenance, you don't see it that much. Or in the case of MoMA, just the general resistance against something that we felt went against our desire to be a very high-touch and personal, trying to give a very personalized experience to all of our visitors. So we implemented a pilot project, and as our founding director, Alfred Barr, noted and saw MoMA as a laboratory inviting the public to participate, he was probably referring more to the art than the lobby and basic ticketing transactions. But we in technology interpreted it differently. So we implemented these prototype kiosks as a proof of concept, and proofs of concepts is something that we do frequently as a form of experimentation at the museum in order to show the value of something, a theory that we have. We wanted to create a new channel for selling tickets, while we also know that we could look at online ticketing as another form to deal with the crowding issue. We've spent a number of years trying to move the needle and have done our best to raise it to maybe about 10% of conversion online. So we knew that we needed to look for other ways of getting people to purchase tickets outside of the focused ticketing area within our lobby. So we wanted to test a self-service kiosk that also bridged what looked like online in our lobby. So the user interface and the UX looks exactly like online, except now it's in a kiosk form. So visitors did their research online and looked at ticket prices and hours, and then came to the lobby and used the kiosk. It's exactly the same experience. And we looked at a goal of reducing overall traffic congestion also as MoMA went into this multi-year expansion project where we'll be increasing our gallery space by about 30%. We knew that with a lot of people coming into the lobby, we needed to make sure that there were as many possible options for ticket purchases. And whether kiosks would be successful in this prototype project would inform whether we should have them once we reopen. So as a proof of concept, we looked at very concrete metrics because we're very data-oriented at MoMA. We looked at the kiosks orders as a total percentage of total orders, and as well as revenue. We built the kiosks so that they're relatively mobile, so we wanted to try it in different locations. We looked at average transaction time and just general success or failures where if people didn't complete their transaction. And also we implemented it in 10 different languages, so we were interested to understand what languages people were interested in using transactions for. Okay, so here's some pictures from our tests. So we placed it in a fairly high traffic area within the museum in this hallway underneath the escalator. And what we saw was that it was very well used. While online received around 10% plus or minus 2%, we saw that even 3 or 4 kiosks in this hallway brought in 26% on the very first day. However, there was traffic congestion. People started to line up behind the kiosk, so it created its own congestion issue. So we moved it into this area in front of this beautiful space where you could see into our sculpture garden. And we saw that was even more successful, in fact. It brought in 33% of our ticket orders. And one of the reasons is because you see it immediately as you come into the entrance of the museum. And as soon as people see it, they don't know if there's another place to get tickets, so they all line up But one of the challenges which we felt as an institution is that it blocked the view of our garden, so we quickly moved them away. And then we decided to try the kiosks out at different locations, so we put it at one of our other entrances on 54th Street, which is not as well trafficked. It has, I would say, about 15% of our visitors come in through that entrance, so it really wasn't used that much. And finally, we moved it into an area where it was in equal view. When a visitor walked in, they saw both the kiosks and the ticketing desks at the same time, allowing them to choose whether they want to use a machine versus talk to a person. And there it stands. It currently receives about 25 to 30% of our orders. And a summary of data over the last 6 months show that people do use it. It's 30% of them are non-English. Transaction times are about 30 seconds because it's a very, very simple, basically about a 3-step process. High conversion, 25 to 30%, and revenue is consistently 35 to 40%. And in terms of conclusion, we're seeing that they are effective, proven the concept, and that people actually choose to use the kiosk frequently, even when there's no line at the desk. So it just creates a new, more inclusive way of letting people do what they want in terms of transaction. And it allows us to potentially redistribute some of our visitor agents across the museum within the lobby to welcome people and continue to give that high-touch experience both in the lobby and in the galleries. Thank you.